Jacob should have known. He should have known better than that. But he just couldn't help himself. He loved Rachel's little boy the best. And of course, when Rachel died giving birth to Benjamin, there was Joseph and Benjamin, and I imagine the only playmate Joseph had was the preschooler Benjamin. Here's a 17-year-old, sort of an outcast from all of his other brothers, and he's left to just deal with the runny-nosed preschooler. Jacob showed his favoritism. You know, it's one thing to have favorites, but it's another thing to show the favoritism, isn't it? Well, I would never tell parents to treat all the children equally. You can't do that. You know, you can be fair, but children have different needs and parents need to respond. I do think parents can be just and fair without showing favorites, but boy, I tell you, when you make such a big deal of it, you know, everybody else just sort of made do, and here Joseph has the coat that stands out, this outer garment, it's many-colored. Some translations say that it was a tunic with sleeves, which really made it a remarkable difference. Either way, every time Joseph put that thing on, it made his brothers hate him more. Made his brothers hate him more. And then, of course, the straw that broke the camel's back was those dreams. Oh, there's nothing wrong with a kid having dreams. Every person needs to have dreams. We need to have lofty dreams that set the standard for our life way out there. My mom and dad used to tell me, reach for the stars. You know, if you don't quite reach them, at least you'll be higher than you were. All that's good counsel, good advice. We need to have those dreams. But Joseph's dreams just aggravated the problem. He told his brothers about the first dream he had. He said, you know, we were out gathering wheat, and my shock of wheat stood upright, and all of your shocks of wheat bowed down to mine. Oh man, don't you know that was really good? Here's this younger brother telling his other brothers that his whole dream in life was to rule over them. They didn't like that at all. And then he had another dream that even aggravated his parents. He said, moon and the stars, moon and the sun and the moon and 12 stars, all bowed down to me. And even Jacob was a little bit bothered by that one. He said, son, are you saying that me and your mother and all your brothers want to bow down to you? I'm going to give you an extra sermon here, okay? A lot of folks are always looking at the Old Testament and say there's not much indication of afterlife in the Old Testament. This is one of those evidences that there's afterlife. Because Rachel had already died when he had this dream. And yet, he and his father Jacob expressed it. She's still alive. She's still alive. Remember, Jesus pointed this out, that when God spoke to all of the descendants of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, he said, I am the God of present tense. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, they're still living today. There is life for those who place their trust in God. But back to the dream. Man, the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, it was just over the top here as this kid is expressing what's in his heart. I don't know what you think about dreams. dreams, or even if you have dreams. I have dreams. I dream probably half the nights that I sleep. I have a dream of some kind or another. Usually it has something to do with what's going on in my life. Sometimes it's off the wall. But I don't put a whole lot of stock in those kind of dreams. But Joseph really did. I think that expressed his true heart's desire. He wanted to lord it over his family. He wanted to be the best. Number one. And really, who could blame him when he's told that from day one in his life? You're the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. It's sort of like that preschooler. You're so pretty, you're so pretty, you're so pretty. And she says, I know. Well, why shouldn't she? Everybody's told her that her whole life. I know it. Joseph, problem child, caused so much division in the family. Doesn't excuse, but does explain why his brothers did what they did. When Jacob sent Joseph off to check on his brothers, find them, see how they're doing and grazing the sheep, he had to go way off, a long journey. And you know, when you're a long way from home, the consequences don't seem to matter as much, do they? Just ask any college kid. Get off away from home. Consequences don't seem so severe. They first just threw him in a pit, and they were going to kill him, and the oldest boy, Reuben, said, no, don't kill him, let's just put him in the pit instead. He had devised a plan where he would rescue Joseph, get him out of the pit, and take him back home. But then those Midianite slave traders came by, and those other boys just could not resist making a little money, and so they pulled him out of the pit, sold him to those guys who took him down into Egypt. And they concocted a story. They killed one of the sheep, dipped Joseph's coat of many colors in the blood, kind of tore it up a little bit, and carried him back to his father and said, we found this. You reckon it's Joseph's? And of course, Jacob just made the only conclusion he could make some wild animals killed my son. He just grieved and mourned. It was something sorrowful for all those years. So unnecessary. Now, I know that a lot of folks will say, well, you know, God blessed Joseph in spite of all of these problems in his life. He did. And in spite of the mistakes that Joseph made, I mean, he made a lot of mistakes. In spite of all those, the grace of God was on him in a powerful way. And I take great comfort in that because God's grace is so necessary for each of us. There's not one of us who hasn't stood in the need of God's grace. We've all sinned. Come short of the glory of God. We all have need of a Savior and cannot save ourselves. We can all identify with Joseph, whether we were the problem in our family or not. We all recognize that there's a need for God's grace to be poured out on us